Hello, 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 and welcome to another round. I'm your host, Jay, and we're here with Love and Marriage DC, Season 3, Episode 1. And I'm joined with my good boy here, Sean. I hope it's Patron Shine.
Uh, not yet, but I'm gonna try. What's up, everybody? We're gonna make it lit though.
We're going to be lit. We're going to try to be as quick and thorough as possible, but you know how we go. We get the ranting and raving, and we be here for a good time and a long time, child. Okay. Anyways, if you're new to this channel, please do me a favor. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button first, then like and share with your friends. If you are a regular here, you know what to do. Show some love. Hit your girl up. And if you're watching this on a replay, please let us know what you thought of the episode. Of course, there'll be some critiques and disagreements with us. We are okay with that. Please let us know. Okay. Anywho, Shine, we are finally back to Love and Marriage DC. It has been a whole year, child.
It's been a whole leap, and we into the leap year now. we done leapt into the leap year, and here we go. By the way, I love the new background, Jay. I'm loving how you starting off 2024.
Thank you. Okay, my little nosy one has heard me. Say hi to the people now, since you're here.
That's our mischief maker.
My little bad butt. But yes. So this episode starts off in 2022. We finishing up from the showdown. Child. The showdown at the Silva's house. Okay. And a little recap on that. Joy and Ashley started beefing because Ashley had told Joy's secret about being married with Clifton, and there's just been tension between the two. Also, she has tension with Black and his wife now because she's up in the mix. Arena feels like she's in the middle of everything. However, sometimes she is inserting herself in the middle. And this was supposed to be a happy time, a happy occasion. And Winter has her relationship going on. Happy times, happy life, supposedly. But at the Silver's house, child, they done got to fussing and fighting down in the basement. What do you think about these two in this argument?
I had to like rewind a couple of times, and I'm glad they caught us up when they, started off the episode, because we've, it's been such a long time. Yeah, I feel like a couple of different ways about why they're tussling this way, because I can't hold you. I understand why Joy is upset. We got to quote our good boy, from Love is Blind and Thanks to Seaway. It's the quote that lives in our minds. Everybody's a little right and everybody's a little wrong. I would understand that if I told somebody in secrecy something and then they told other people or a person, and then, it happened to be televised, right? So I could understand feeling a type of way that they didn't want that information out in the atmosphere. And so that part I get, and I get Joy being upset with Ashley about that and wanting her to like give a legit apology, because if we're friends or friendly and you do something, especially where you're blatantly, it's just wrong, right? We would just want a legit apology. On the other hand, I can see a little bit of Ashley's point, right? You're not going to come to my house party, my holiday party, and just come through my house and kind of ignore me. So yeah, that's what I think.
And I agree with you there. It's like a little bit of right, a little bit of wrong. On the devil advocate side of Ashley, I'm like, if you don't accept my apologies, why show up to my party? You have every right to accept my apology whenever you feel like it, or feel like my apology wasn't sincere enough, whatever the case may be. But I'll be looking at you like, why are you here if you don't F with me? Unless you're trying to come here and really make amends and just be like, okay, I accept your apology, or we agree to disagree, but we can be cordial. However, On the other side, and I'm a good house party thrower, and I please believe I've thrown many house parties where I've only had one where we had a real incident, and that's because no, I had two. Somebody stole something at one, which never happened before at one of my parties, which had me heated. Nope, that was the same incident. The same party, never mind. So it's just one that somebody stole something in my thing, and I had a whole incident because we had to do reinforcement of going through bags and stuff before people laugh. Because I've never had guests come to my house and had something taken, let alone something taken from my house, period. So I get having a house party and not having an incident happen. But as the host, generally I'm going to be responsible for not making sure no incidents do happen at my party. So part of me is like, Ashley, why did you pull her to the side instead of having just a cordial thing like, hey, are we good? You're here today. Are we good? You want to go off and then make it seem like it's her fault for showing up and your party was disrupted by her. Like, you have full control of how you run your house. She's not fighting with anybody. Nobody else is fighting in your house but you and this person, and you kind of started some of this. So you got to look at yourself a little bit and say, how did we get here? Instead of just jumping to the point, well, she called me a B, and so you already know how I feel about when women call me this, that. This is your house. You did invite her. She didn't just show up out of the blue. You did invite her. Figure out a better time and place probably to have this conversation.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think that she definitely could have chosen to handle that. But similar to myself, maybe Ashley was on some of that Patron, you know. She might have been hanging out with Pat and Ron, the toxic twins.
They get on your shoulders, start talking to
and
you.
They just start talking in your ear, and the noise is loud. It's a party. You can't distinguish what to do. Pat's like, get her, talk. Come on. And the inner voice is like, we can do this a better time. But Pat and Ron, when they get to going, it's hard to ignore them.
Mm-hmm.
I can definitely understand and empathize. Like, I'm not necessarily an aggressive when I get tipsy, but I'm loud. So I be thinking I'm whispering, I be thinking I'm talking, but the whole world, and we witnessed that, right? The whole world can kind of overhear what I'm saying, and I'm being a little nonchalant, right? Because it's like you just lose that inner, like, okay, I don't want to, I don't want to go all the way there, but Pat and Ron just have you doing some wild things. So I think that Ashley shouldn't have had that discussion if she had some Pat and Ron or whatever she had in her system. Probably wasn't a good time. That wasn't the best time to conduct it. You just say, hey, sis, glad you showed up, but, let's talk at some point, right? Because it's going to be very difficult to hash that out. And then it's just like they went into a separate area of her house, and then all of a sudden it was like a crowd of people. I was like, whoa, this is intense. Then you got Arena involved. Arena caught a stray, So I think lots of moving pieces that nobody wants around the holidays, and things to get escalated that don't necessarily need to get that way.
And as a mutual friend, talking about Arena, it's kind of like there's no right way for her to do anything, like, other than just sit down and not go check on anybody, which would be odd still too, because they still be looking, well, you didn't come check on me. You didn't do this. And that's never a position that I want to, if I have a friend, I'm not trying to put you in a position where you have to choose sides. I feel like if you're our mutual friend, you're friend with both of us or whatever, regardless of how long me and you been friends, how long you and them been friends, it doesn't matter to me. I'm not a type of friend that makes you choose between us two. Just, if you're going to be with that person, please let me know so I don't have to be around. If I don't want to be around that person out of respect or whatever, don't talk about me with that person, because I'm not going to talk about that person with you or whatnot. It's just an all-around respect type thing. And as adults, I don't have to have this ego that says you can't be my friend if you're her friend. And I noticed that's what we start to get into later on, especially with Ashley. It's like, oh, you can't choose sides. You can't do this. You got so many rules for this D that you're trying to give her on the end of the friend or whatever. But at the end of the day, who are you going to be more loyal to? You going to be loyal to the best friend that got into the car accident, or you going to be loyal to Arena if them two get into it? And I'm not saying that's what Arena is doing with Joy, but she's trying to be as neutral as possible. She, like she said, went to check on Joy. You live here. I can check on you at any time because this is your house. You're not going anywhere. But generally, I'm going to go check on the person who is walking out the house. Let me see what's going on. Why are you leaving? What's happening? And then I can come back and check on the person that stays here. That's just logically in my head. I don't know how you would do it, Sean.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I didn't see it a big deal, especially the way she explained it. There was so many things going on, but the way she explained it is that Joy was right in front of her. So she was like right in front of her, brushing past to go out the door. So she just saw her leaving and she went to go get her. So, I mean, I understand that aspect. And she did come back. It's not like somebody had to call or rein it back in. She came back in the house, and it's not like she left with Joy. She came back to check on her. I could understand how Ashley just might have wanted her to check on her, but I don't think it's enough to, have a full-on blowout now with her. And I think it was more like Irena got the residual argument because Ashley was already still ramped up about what happened with Joy. And then it was like, oh, Irena didn't do something she wanted her to do. Bam, you got, now you're going to get this work. And now we're going to get to tussle. And I just wish, because I kind of like Ashley, and I didn't realize she was a Scorpio, but, hey, maybe, I'm not into the Miss Cleo of it all, but, I like Ashley a little bit, so I just would have wanted her to just talk to Irena and say, hey, listen, I would have just loved if you would have checked on me. Like I wish that you checked on me first because I'm your friend. We've been friends, we've been 10 toes down with each other. And I just wanted you to check on me because I was feeling my feelings were hurt. I think you get off way better if you just honest instead of just like your immediate fight response.
It's so funny because I think about how I would actually react in that thing, and I'll probably be more F that B than I'll be to fussing with you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not gonna be up here. You ran off and checked on her. Woo, woo, woo. I'm not gonna worry about that. I'd be like, is she gone? Good. Let's continue the party, y'all. Like, you ain't about to mess with my daggone night.
Yeah. And then you just talk to your best friend like, yo, you can't believe what just went down. You know what I mean? Like, can you believe what happened? Or if you really want to know what she had to say, was she talking about me? Then you could, go there.
Yeah.
But listen, its tensions are running high. I'm not going to say we're all are perfect in the midst of conflict, but I think when you have a long tenured friendship like they did and do, sometimes you just gotta check your response in a very tense situation. You can't always be so reactive and assume the worst of people. And I think she just immediately assumed the worst. Like, you went after her, you don't care about me, and now I'm your no, but Joy was leaving. She was leaving.
You live here. I just want to make sure she gets to her car.
Your house. And this is all of your friends.
Right.
She might not make it to the car. So I just want to make sure it don't go too left. And I understand that because sometimes, you have all of her friends, her family, people are overhearing the drama. So if it's your family, I don't know about you. Sometimes you have some family members, they don't even need to hear, oh, you fighting with my friend? Now I'm in your face. So, I could even understand Irena just being in there like Joy is the outsider. She just wants to kind of, make sure she's okay.
And she walked in with her. It's like I'm that type of friend that if I walk in a place with you, at least I'm gonna walk out with you to make sure that you got where you need to be going. Generally a lot of times if I get kicked out, we get kicked out together. But like I say, she's a mutual friend to them both. So I don't expect her to leave with Joy, but I also do expect her to check. Well, not my expectations, but I would assume that she would check on the person who's leaving, whose house is not there. It's not their house. And this lady's leaving in the middle of the night. And granted, she got somebody walking with her, but still, it's two ladies and one gentleman. Let me make sure y'all get to where y'all going, to your car at least. But yeah, moving forward. I mean, one last thing. Do you think, like Drowsy G said, it seems like there's a little bit of jealousy from Ashley about Irena and Joy's relationship?
Yeah, I could agree with that, maybe a little. And I don't think it's like, oh, she wants to be her. But I think anytime you have a long-standing friendship with somebody, and then you have a newcomer to the group, everybody feels a little bit away.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just natural to have those feelings. I think what you do with them, some people just be like, oh, okay, and they kind of like look at the person with a side eye, but still like let them breathe on their own, let the relationship itself breathe on its own. So yeah, I'm sure there's just a little bit of that in there. And now it's like, oh, so where's our friendship stand? So I think there could be some truth to that.
Yeah.
If Ashley's watching anybody, and we're not saying you want to be Joy. I don't think you want to be Joy. I just think whenever new friend, and sometimes like I know how I am, especially with people I really care about, I hold them close.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes when there's new people coming in, and I know Joy and Ashley had their own friendship or were building a relationship, but if you see your close friend gravitating to somebody else, you might be like, oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, I recall having that with my best friend of we've been best friends since junior high, and when she started running with her other best friend, it was kind of like a little jab to my. It's like, wait a minute, it used to be us. We used to be Thelma and Louise. What the heck? Like, you don't got a new Thelma? Like, you do feel a little something, but that also taught me how to just like back up because they're at the end of the day they still your friends, and what you can do is get to know this new person that they have. And so we actually all became good friends to this day. And I mean, they have their bond and we have our bond, and that's just how friendships work. It's just we're going to bond differently, and I should allow you to be who you are with your friends and not have control or say or whatnot. But I think that stems a little bit from Ashley's upbringing. She had a lot of rejection types scenarios with her mom, and I think that's what makes her hold on to people like this. And it might also deal with some of her parenting style, according to Quick. So, but yeah. Anyway, any last thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, I think like I hope to see that they make some level of amends. Especially Arena and Ashley, because it looks like they had a long-standing friendship, and the both couples are friends, so it makes it awkward if the wives aren't speaking and now the husbands have to kind of like navigate the relationship. So um you know I'm hoping that that gets better. I mean, I don't know if you're going to go there next, but then we see the sit down with the other two husbands.
I was like, you
Cliff
made a good
10, Cliff
segue.
10, and and
Cliff
DJ Quick.
Fun.
Yes, we don't want to mess his name up,
Right.
So
Yeah, but that's a good segue to go on to them right now. So these ladies is now affecting the relationships of the men, because what do? We have to stand by our household, and the household is now dividing the friendships because Clifton and Quick have a sit down, and again, neither one of these men are wrong and neither one of these men are right. It's just a difference of opinions on one situation, and at the end of the day they both are going to do what they're supposed to do in their marriage, is stand by their wife. So I don't know, Sean, you're a man. I don't know if you could help these brothers navigate that.
yeah, I think their friendship is too new. If this was like my best friend, then we could talk about it. Like, and I could be like, yo, my wife was wrong. You know what I mean? But their friendship is too new. I got to stand 10 toes down with my wife because I don't know how this is all going to work out. Especially if I didn't have a chance to talk. And, Ashley has a strong personality anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if they had a chance to talk about this before and like get on the same page, unless we talked about it before. And I already told her, like, hey, babe, I think what you did was wrong. You know what I mean? And then, I'm going to meet with Cliff. I'm just letting you know. I'm not saying it was right for, Joy to say the things that she said, but I just feel like you probably should have kept that information close. And if it came out, then you owe her an apology, and you should just it shouldn't be anything more, nothing else to talk about, because I think those are the worst apologies too. It's like, I'm apologize, but hey, I don't know what your goal was anyway. It's like, why, what you keeping it a secret for anyway? It's like, I told you it was a secret. And you told somebody. I don't care if you told your best friend's mama, your priest, you told somebody, and now it's out, and I didn't want it to be. So just say sorry. You know what I mean? Like, I think that would have just gone a long way to just have the apology, nothing extra, and not defend yourself or be defensive.
So I had forgot until I watched the recap. Well, the rest of the episode, I had forgot originally that she had told her best friend and not just quick. I would, sometimes when I tell somebody something and they married, I assume that you're going to pillow talk a little bit. So that part, I don't, if you tell your husband, for me personally, this is just for me, it's not really a problem. It's when y'all start telling the whole world, because I technically don't want to have secrets, telling you secrets that you got to withhold from your partner. I don't want to put you in that position and be a wedge in your relationship. However, if I tell you something in confidence, I do expect that it doesn't go, especially on national TV. You know what I'm saying? If it goes to your partner, you better make sure your partner can hold their tongue too. But generally, I'm pretty much kind of like, I'm in between these two brothers' argument, because I'm kind of like quick. I know who I can tell certain things to and who I would never tell anything to. You know what I'm saying? I can respect quick saying, hey, if you tell me, guess what? It's going to probably be in the streets. So I just know, okay, never will I come to you and tell you anything of confidence. But I also have friends that if I tell them something, is basically going to the grave. I ain't never have to worry about it getting out or whatnot. Otherwise, I'm keeping this information to myself. I'm kind of like, Joy, I know you want to share, you feel good about it, but you don't know this lady enough. You clearly didn't know this lady enough to make sure that she's going to not tell anybody. And so you and Clifton are over here assuming that people rock like the way you rock. That everybody don't do that. Everybody don't have to feel obligated to keep your secrets because you're telling them. You don't want nobody to know, you don't tell nobody. So that's one mistake on Joy's part. However, Ashley, the way she just dropped the bomb with her friend, just like, oh yeah, they married. Ma'am, you knew daggone well that lady didn't ask you to tell she asked you not to tell anybody. And you just gonna casually just be like, and then nonchalantly tell Joy, like, oh, well, yeah, I told my friend. I didn't understand how she expected it to go, and I don't understand how quick just sits by. I mean, in the face of Clifton, I can understand why he's sitting by, but it's like, you need to tell your wife, for real, you was wrong.
Yeah, I think he probably, like some husbands, he wants to keep the peace, because he don't want to hear Ashley's mouth himself. So he was like, I'd rather deal with Clifton over here. I'm not gonna I'm not gonna disrupt my happy home, because I know Ashley is probably, it's gonna take her a little while to settle into me telling her what she don't want to hear. But I do think at a certain point, he just needs to, let her know, hey, listen, you was wrong. He was settling her down at the house, like when he saw it getting irate. But did you see when she was at the top of those steps and she was like, get off me? I was like, whoa.
First of all, I was like, both her and Arena was pushing through their mans, because Arena was on the other side, and it was like, excuse me, don't me. I was like, oh, okay.
I was like, yikes.
Ooh, the Baltimore is coming out you. I don't even know if they're from Baltimore, but
they are. I'm not 100% sure about Arena. I hear a little Baltimore accent, but Ashley is for sure.
Yeah, I was like, oh, baby. Yeah. I was like, okay, please don't fight in this house. Don't fight, ladies. Don't fight. Keep it cute.
Oh, and don't be tussling with me. So I think Quick was like, whoa, she was about to. I think he, as I'm remembering last season, she almost caught it with her a couple of times. Like I don't think Ashley doesn't play. When she's at 100, it's a lot to get her calm down.
Yeah.
So.
He's picking his battles wisely.
If anybody's gonna do it, it needs to be him.
Mm-hmm.
I know when they were talking, you mentioned it too, when they were talking about their parenting styles being different. I think, yeah, they were tussling a little bit about that. So yeah, he definitely needs to just talk to her. Hey, listen, babe, in a calm setting. You know, always got your back, but I had to sit in front of Clifton and say some things that I normally wouldn't say. But I have your back, and that's important. But I think
Mm-hmm.
you really do need to, reach out to Joy and apologize because you messed it up, babe. You messed it up.
Yeah. I mean, she said she apologized twice, but I definitely agree that he has to be the one who says something to her. That you're the closest to her. You're definitely the closest. She's gonna respect you the most out of everybody else. And at the end of the day, she was wrong for telling Joy's business. Okay. And you know that she was wrong for telling. You could stand by her side and be like, you shouldn't tell me nothing if you don't want it out. Yeah, yeah, yeah. All that is good and fine once I know. But when I don't know, most of us do assume that if I'm telling you something in confidence and I say, please don't tell nobody, I'm assuming that we have some code of ethic that is going to stay between us. So she has to give a sincere apology. I know she said she apologized twice, but listen, if you really want to go forward in the friendship or try to make amends or at least to get into a place of being cordial with one another, just give a sincere apology and let her decide when she's ready to like accept it and move forward.
Agreed. Now, one thing about that conversation that kind of had me crick my neck a little bit, because Clifton was like, at a certain point, he was like, "Well, I'm glad I wasn't there because it could have gone even more left." I'm like, "What's that mean?"
Joy, he liked to assert himself in women business a little too much. He can be mad at me if he wants to, but I'm gonna put that out there because that's what we got at the end of Ready to Love. And you making that statement right there, it's like Jamie didn't step in but to block his lady. Quick didn't step in but to block his lady. So why would it you being there, it would go higher? Either you're gonna be egging Joy on or you're gonna be stopping in to stop whose lady, not yours. That's a puzzling statement to even say because none of the men were arguing with each other for that night for you to assume that it was going to get that further up.
Yeah, like that part, I'm like, and you said it in my head. I'm like, because the guys, we're supposed to de-escalate, right? If we see our women getting into conflict, we should be de-escalating things, not making it worse. You're supposed to protect them, meaning not just protect them, get to fighting, but protect them in the sense of keep situations from getting unnecessarily riled up. And I think both of the husbands, like you said, I'm in a total agreement. They handled it the right way. You did, you don't talk to your other friend's wife. You talk to your wife. If you see her escalating, you try to calm her down, and that's it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was weird to me too as well. But moving on, we hopefully he don't have another situation where he got to be in their business and he just keep.
You see the preview? No, they're gonna get to. They're gonna tussle. They're gonna tussle.
I know what I was gonna say. But quick, listen, you need to talk to you need to be the one who talked to Ashley because if you can have an intervention with Jamie and tell Jamie about himself on the drink, you gotta tell your lady about herself at the house parties, at your house parties. While she a little lit, okay? Like mama, you get a little lit, you get a little loose at the lips, okay? That's what we gotta control that. So yeah. Anyway, we're gonna see what this season brings, child. We're gonna see. Hopefully, these ladies get it together as moving forward. But on some lighter news, our dear sweet Winter, baby, listen, Winter, I need your eye makeup routine, but sweetie, because she be having some flawless shadow, baby. I love Winter's eyeshadow game, baby. Okay, but Winter and I don't know if I should remember this man's name, but I don't.
It's don't remember it. because
Don't matter, Mr. Don't matter. At this
that's
point,
just
because
don't
we're a
matter,
year
y'all.
later.
So,
Thank you, Carlos King. We're a year later, and now we can't even talk to the show about the
right.
show. It's supposed to be. But Winter with her potential man at the time at the skating rink. Okay, this conversation here, because she's like, I think it's time that we start introducing ourselves to the more family members and yada yada. And she talks about, starting which child she want to start with. And he said that he has never done this before with his child. He's never introduced his child to somebody. I was like, that's interesting. I can't remember the ins and outs about him, so I don't remember how old his child is and how long he's been away from his child's mother. But I'm like, you've never, unless it's fresh out, you're fresh out. You haven't had a relationship that you've been this serious about. It's a little concerning.
Well, he's been focused on his career and such. So heavy on the such.
Don't add just such sauce. Oh, child. Oh, but no, let's get into the conversation of at the rink, the real conversation of it all. Okay, this man said if he can withhold from buying the cookies, but if the cookies in the house, he gonna eat them. And he want to make sure that she is still on the same page as him as far as abstinence is concerned. I was confused because I was like, what page are you on? Because she's on the page of abstinence, which means no sexual intercourse before marriage. I think he on the celibacy chapter. Because I think he's trying to find out how long she gonna go before marriage, before they can get something done.
He ain't on the note. It's nothing. It's just I'm waiting till you ready. That's what it's called.
Let me know when you're ready.
I hope you're ready before marriage. That's what those questions are about.
Tell
you know what I mean?
Are you ready? Are you ready?
No, guys, he's not a Renaman. They met through Sharella. Yeah, they met through Sharella.
Yeah,
definitely is legit. They had a whole YouTube channel together and everything. But yeah, so I can definitely confirm that it was legit,
Now I'm not holding him. Winter is a gorgeous woman.
Beautiful.
Very beautiful woman. And she got that sultry look to her that she can definitely probably seduce you. Okay. So I understand where he coming from. Like, hey, if you're gonna be spending the night, I can't stay here with you. You can stay at my house, but I can't stay here with you.
No, yeah, I don't know that I don't want to say never, but I wouldn't want it to be a regular occurrence, right? If we sleeping back and forth, it's gonna be tempting, And when I tell y'all, I had the pleasure of meeting Winter in person. She's beautiful. Okay. Shout out to Winter. She's beautiful. So I just don't know if I could do that long term. Yeah. Maybe one night, maybe we live a little further away from each other and it's just convenient. Blase, but no regular. I can't be, sorry, we're gonna have to quote him because it just feels right, feeling on your booty. Like, I can't do it.
Listen, because that's all I think about is that if I lay with my back to you, I'm gonna pray to press up against you. Me personally, I might forget I was practicing abstinence and be like, oh, okay. So me, I couldn't do it. I don't even know how Winter doing it. She good. Okay, she putting herself through real tests around here and she is passing. Me, not so much. I would have to not spend the night. I'd be like, baby, 2 o'clock. I gotta go. I'm awake.
Exactly.
I'm awake. I can make it home. Don't worry. Talk to me when I get on my way there.
Oh yeah, I hear you, Dee. We need to overcome the flesh and have rule over our temptation. I could probably do one night. I'm saying I could probably do one night. But it can't be nights. It can't be no nights, no plural.
But see, I don't even want to do the one night because the one night gonna make me want to come for another night. So
look who stepped in.
Hey.
You heard your name, Winter?
Mm-hmm. If you want to come up and speak about the episode, let me know. I'll drop you the link. Child, and I'm giving you credit, girl, because I swear I can't do no nights. And I'm the woman. Listen, I'll be at a hotel near you. I can't do it. But I was like, this brother here with this conversation talking about, are we on the same page? No, we're not on the same page because clearly you trying to eat the cookies. And I'm trying to keep the cookies in the pack. Leave me alone, sir. Go to bed. Okay, let me send it to you right now. Like, go to bed, sir. I do not want to hear you with this nonsense.
And we can get her thoughts directly on what she thought about.
Please believe I will not be letting anybody else up but Winter, so don't even try it. I know y'all like to see a little link and be like, oh, no, boo-boo. But yeah, because I was like, this episode not really giving much because we still a year past. We got to see the Christmas of it all, 2023. Everybody brought into the new year. And who we missing? Sharella, and I feel like it's somebody else. Who's the other?
I don't think they're going to be really featured on this. I mean, Winter can maybe tell us when she comes on, but I get the gist that they might not be on as much this particular season.
I know the season looking like it's going to be good because I see Ashley coming for Joy ex-friend. I can't imagine she was talking about anybody else but being grown with blue contacts in. Yes. I can't imagine she's talking about anybody else.
Poor Carmen. I mean, yeah, we met her too. Another, I need to relocate myself to the DMV area.
No, I didn't.
Fine women out there, Carmen.
They are some lovely.
Now they all taken.
You said they all taken. They all getting married.
Exactly. They all hitched up and.
They are all getting married. But yeah, I mean, I still, don't get me wrong, I love me some Ashley. That's been my ride from the beginning. I love me Ashley, but I was like, this episode, it was a little bit wrong, mommy. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. But Joy got her way about her. I know. Yeah, it could be a little sticky. But
sticky's a good word.
But y'all always like to come out and say, listen, I brought you on this show, this, that, the third. You already know it's about to go up from there.
Yeah, I think there's certain trigger words. Once you hit that trigger word, then forget it. I think you're not gonna get a good response after that.
Here she is. Hey, beautiful.
Hi, guys.
Hey, friend.
How are you doing?
Doing good.
Awesome. I was like, I don't know if I could swing it, and my call ended just in time. So I was like, okay, I'm a hop on right quick. You're guys, so I was like, I'll do it for you. I don't do it for everybody, but
I appreciate you. I was like, I wanted to surprise Jay, so I was like, if it can happen, it can happen. So I'm glad you were able to come through, and then also grace us with your presence. So
thank you for having me, and thank you guys for watching last night. I'm curious to see what the ratings are because we have been gone for so long. I even noticed that a lot of people are not even reviewing it anymore. So it should be real interesting to see if people kind of catch on and start to watch again. But I don't know. So
can you give us a little insight on why was it so long?
So it was a network decision. Unfortunately, it's just the way that OWN does their series. That's how they split their series up. Of course, Huntsville is always going to have priority because it is their #1 rated show, and they have so many seasons and they have the numbers to support it. But Yeah, it's just really the way that the cookie crumbled, and it shaked out to be that we just got put on the shelf until they decided to bring it back. I would suspect, and no one has told us this, but I'm sure our numbers did not help. I don't know if you guys pay attention to some of the stats that come out about the show, but there was a significant drop between season 1 and season 2. And so I would definitely say that that had a lot to do with Monique leaving. So yeah. So I think we're trying to figure out the perfect balance of what people really want to see, and who people really want to see. But I think it's a great season. I think if people hang in there, there's a lot coming down the pipeline. There's a lot coming down the pipeline. So we'll see.
Definitely does look like a lot coming down. We got a lot
Yes.
of story development, especially for you. I don't want to give nothing
Just
away.
hang on. We had your back. But tell us, was that little conversation, it sounded like oh boy was trying to get to the cookie? You know, you sound like he was trying to get to the cookie and not stay on track with the commitment that y'all made.
Y'all, okay. So, and I pray that the fans give us grace and understand that this footage is a year old. Okay. It's not current. So there's a lot that's happened between when this show quit filming and now. So we are not together anymore. That's just the truth. You will get to see how things play out on the show. Watching it back is a little odd just because we haven't been together in so long, and I haven't talked to him since I broke up with him. And I broke up with him as soon as we wrapped filming, which was end of March, beginning of April, maybe. No, end of March. So it's just weird. So I watched that episode back, and just thinking back to that moment, I'm like, he tried it a little bit. Like, sometimes you don't think about it. Hindsight is always 2020. We know this, but watching it back, I'm like, did he say that for real? Like, I'm literally trying to remember the whole scene, and I'm like, he tried it. So he did admit, and I don't know if he says this in confessional or not. If you guys get a chance to see him say this, I believe he said it. They just didn't show it. But in confessional, he said that he believed in the principle of abstinence, but he had never been successful at it himself. So, all that to say, this was very challenging for him because I was very serious about holding to the practice. I have practiced abstinence for years. It's really not tough for me, even when it comes to sleeping over houses. I've literally dated people where we've been able to vacation, nothing has ever happened. But in his case, if he's saying he believes in the principle but he's never been successful at it, he was basically saying, I don't know that I can have you over my house. Like, this is not something that I think I can be successful at if you're here. But let me tell you what, he wasn't going to get none of these cookies. There was so much happening behind the scenes. And like I said, you guys will continue to see things unfold. But well, I don't know if you call it successful or not. We only dated for 4 months. And we didn't sleep together during that time. So I guess you could say we were successful at it, but it's more so
you were successful.
I was successful at it.
Somebody was.
I don't think you were calling it success, but you were successful.
We'll call it success because I didn't add to my body count over it, but yeah, I do feel like he was trying it and kind of, because he said, how long do you want to do this? And I think my face kind of like processed it in the moment, like, what you mean? How long you want to do this? Do you understand the concept of abstinence and what it means? So yeah, he was trying it a little bit. So yeah, anyway.
Listen, I'm not gonna fault him because I was just telling Sean before you came. I get confused on celibacy and abstinence, and that's why I think he was thinking that you on the celibate journey and just like, oh, we're gonna do this for a couple of months or whatnot. And
so I honestly back in my heyday when I moonlit as a relationship coach, it was honestly something I would teach people the difference between. So celibacy is actually a vow that priests and nuns take when they take their vow and they're committed to being married to God and married to their community and married to their church. That's celibacy. Oh, okay. What we describe as abstaining until we say I do, that's abstinence. Celibacy means you don't ever intend to have sex. Abstinence means you're abstaining for a period or a set time. So I tell people all the time, stop saying you're celibate. You're not celibate unless you plan on never having sex again. And honey, that is not my ministry. That ain't what I'm signing up for. My goal is always to abstain to marriage. Have I always been successful? No. My daughter is proof of that. 22 years later, honey, she was here before we said I do. Okay. She was cooking when I said I do, but that is something I strive towards. So yeah, I think he knew I was pretty serious about it, but like I said, he admitted he had never been successful at it. So I'm sure it was a challenge for him. And I personally feel like, as we go through the season, I think the audience will begin to make some assessments as well. But I think the general consensus on Twitter, from what I could tell Saturday night, is that people have their spidey senses up for sure.
Please tell me how he got on the couch with you.
Oh, now that was something that was an argument. He wanted to do it. Production, of course, asked him to do it. I was iffy about it because that's a huge statement to make when someone sits on a couch. And to me, there was not enough skin in the game. However, people have to understand that he was filming quite a lot during that time. And when a person films as much as he was, it's almost weird to not get his perspective when he's there so much, seeing so much of what's filming and what's happening. So I understood why they wanted it to happen, but yeah, there is a point to which I shut that down in the season.
Did he not be on the couch by himself, or they just had to have y'all?
He did. No. So he filmed separately by himself. He has some individual confessionals as well. But even still, yeah, we were asked to film together. And I feel like that's more of their preference. Their preference is to have couples film together, regardless of what that looks like. For me, it's like, well, shoot, that was my first confessional actually filming with a guy, and it had to be with somebody I didn't work out with, but whatever. But yeah, I understand it. Did I love it? No, but it's work, and work isn't always what you want. It isn't always what you want, but hey.
Yeah, I mean, I get it from a production standpoint is to save money. We can just knock you both out at the same time, but at the same time.
Yeah, but in all fairness, knowing what I know, he was in a lot of scenes. It's not like he was under contract, so he was really doing this you could honestly say out of the kindness of his heart, because he wasn't under contract for it. But yeah, so I understand why they asked.
Cast, Winter?
Huh?
He wasn't cast?
No.
He wasn't part of the cast. Okay.
No. So let's go back to season 2A, if you will. We see that he's introduced at the juice shop by Sherelle and Black. That's really his introduction to the show. So it was their decision to introduce Yusha to me. That was like how you guys saw it is how it really happened. I never knew him prior to that. Never saw him. Couldn't pick him out in the lineup. Literally, they were setting us up on a blind meeting. So, no, he was not cast. No, it wasn't no rent-a-boo, and I wouldn't have rented him. Just saying. I really gave him a fair chance. I really, really did. So, it's one of those things where I don't regret it because I went in it with an open heart and an open mind. It's just, things transpired, and like I said, you guys will get to see it as the show progresses.
So I
I
had a
think we got a
question
little
from.
troll in here somewhere
Yeah,
too.
I got them out.
Okay.
No, I think they just clicked the link because Winter's here. But got a question from one of the audience members. They wanted to know, how did you and Ashley make your amends?
I'm sure a lot of people want to know that because we were so at each other's throats season 1. So I will say that she was very intentional about trying to reach out to figure out how we could coexist because we were really butting heads. In fact, when you guys see us meet for the first time, when it's just her and I and scene, we're at this little restaurant outside. We actually did a YouTube live about this, but we laugh about it now. That scene was horrible. And I mean horrible as in we went blow for blow. It was bad. It was so bad. She got up and walked out and was like, if I don't get up, I'm gonna slap the out of her. Like we literally, it was blow for blow. Our the CEO or one of the CEOs of Kingdom Reign was on set that night, and literally she walked from behind there with our executive producer, and she was like, it was going oh so well until the end, and I just don't know what happened. It was just bad. So we knew we had to figure out a way to try to coexist. That's when she did the Say That Shit event. And we really called a truce. My romancipation was the real first step in being like, okay, we may not be friends, but we can be cordial. We got to work together because essentially we are paid to be in the same vicinity. But outside of the show, Ashley extended an invite for all of us to come to her house. Now, this is the first time I'd ever been invited to the Silva's house. But she honestly wanted to have a real conversation so we could rehash all of the things that we had issues with. She had her grievances, I had mine. And we talked for a long time. It wasn't until that point that we were really able to move forward and put the past behind us. Because the reality, people love to have their points. For Ashley, people love to have their points for me, but let's be clear. We are no joke when it comes to our mouths. We went blow for blow. We both said things that were nasty to each other. That's the truth. There are things that you guys didn't see that we said that were very nasty to each other. So we had to own that, put our egos aside, and be like, all right, if we're going to try to give each other a fair chance, we got to wipe the slate clean. And then from that point forward, we really just started hanging out and found out that we were more alike than we were different. It's just that we process a little bit differently. She's actually more sensitive than I am. I'm not as sensitive as she is. So I can say something to hurt your feelings and move on with the next, line of conversation. She can get hurt by things. So we just had to learn each other, honestly. And we learn to enjoy each other's company. We still talk trash to each other. We just know each other's boundaries a little better. So much so we did go to Jamaica together on a girls' trip. That was a good trip for us. We had an amazing time. Latrice from Bell Collective went with us as well. That's our girl. Yeah, it really has been a lot of time spent behind the scenes. A lot of people have asked us if it's because she's no longer friends with Arena. And that's assuming that I have allegiance to Arena. That's weird. That's assuming that I have an issue with Arena. I don't. So you only form an allegiance if there's some benefit. I'm not against Arena. I'm not against Joy. So forming an allegiance with me would be pointless because I'm not teaming up with you to get back at them. So it sounds good, but it's just not the truth. We really have just spent a lot of time outside of the show. And yeah, so that's the truth. It's what it is. That's my girl. She gave me the D. The people talk about that. Have you got the D yet? She finally gave me the D. I told her it's the best D she's ever had. But but we have a good time. We talk quite a bit. Probably a lot more than people realize. She reminded me that we actually ended up talking, and this was a while ago when she was out of town on her daughter's dance trip. We talked for like 2 hours on the phone one night. And so I think that really kind of helped solidify our ability to move forward. But from that point forward, we've just been cool. Ashley's still going Ashley, and Winter is still going Winter. That has not changed. I think we got into a back and forth on Twitter about something last week, and people were like, I thought y'all were good. And we were like, we are good, but we still ourselves. We're not always gonna agree.
I love that.
So yeah, that's how that happened.
So did you tell her she could have handled that Joy situation a little bit better with the marriage leak?
So that's where we got into it on Twitter last week.
Uh-oh. We see why Quick didn't want to get involved.
That's how we got into it, because I was given an honest assessment of what I thought. Like, the season was coming back, and I think I did like some bullet point. A few other blogs reposted what I said, which I should have known, but I wasn't trying to be messy. I really was being fair in my assessment. And so I said Ashley had no business telling Joy's business. That's my honest belief. And it's like I told her, because she was pissed by me saying that, but she messaged me privately and we had a private conversation about it. And I was explaining to her, I said, I'm not against you. That's not my reason for posting that. But if we're friends for real, which we are, that means you got to accept that I'm not always going to agree with everything you do or say. That's just the truth of it. And in my opinion, if I tell you something in confidence and you repeat it, I don't care if you don't rock with me no more. We gonna have a problem. I'm still keeping confidence for people I don't with no more. I'm serious. And I said the reality is that it speaks more to your character than it does about what you're trying to share. And I said, I understand all of the aftermath. Joy even told her she wasn't mad about her telling Alicia. It was an issue with they were trying to keep it quiet because of some things they had planned. Fine. But that's not what the viewers see. I'm a viewer, right? I wasn't integrated with the group like that. So I'm learning when everybody else learn. So I'm watching when everybody else watch. And what I witnessed, I'm like, now, girl, you didn't have to go and tell that. You didn't have to do that. So that's my opinion. And we came to an understanding, and I think she understands. It doesn't mean I'm against you when I disagree. It just means I have my own opinion. I have my own thoughts. I'm not a puppet. Much like Jamie thinks I've picked Ashley's side. And I had to tell Jamie on Twitter, Jamie, at what point did you decide that I owed you my allegiance? Like, I'm so confused about all these alliances and allegiances. We are individual people with individual brains. And I'll be damned if I ever become a robot. I hate groupthink. I hate the gang up method. I hate bullying of any kind. And for me, for someone who walked through season 1 alone with everyone against them, and to have an audience basically have my back because they saw, hey, like, okay, we're not saying Winter is perfect or innocent, but hey, y'all need to back up off of her. It's not fair to have everybody against one person. And I don't like when I feel like there's a narrative trying to be created that will essentially pit everyone against one person, in this case being Ashley. So for me, I stay neutral. I actually can see fault on both sides. I have maintained Arena had no business getting involved because, again, if I'm friends with both of y'all and I love you both, y'all go figure that out. You're not going to drag me in the middle of it. You were wrong. You were wrong. What do you want me to do? I'm not picking. So y'all going to have to figure it out. That's where I feel like Arena should have stayed. And with her being the elder out of all of us, and no shade, she really is. You could have set an example. I think this could have been over with and squashed if it was handled a little bit differently. But as you'll see, and we discussed a little bit on the YouTube, is that she becomes a little bit protective of Joy, which is why I think it kind of flips. And I'm not saying that her and Joy weren't closer. In my experience with Arena and Joy, they are very close. They spend an awful a lot of time and it's not a bad thing. They just really spend a lot of time together. But by the same token, her and Ashley had developed a friendship and they were close. Joy wasn't around season 1. It was always Ashley and Arena. So people can say what they want to say because they're not cool or they're mad at each other, but we all know better. For me, it's like, let's be fair. Let's not get into this let's all jump on this person, because we've all had our day in the doghouse, and you wouldn't want someone to do that to you. I feel like if the tables were turned, they wouldn't like it. So I just refuse to be put in a corner and forced to have to pick. I'm not doing it.
Now, is it fair to say that Arena never took up for you or stood by your side the way she's standing by Joy's side, maybe because y'all didn't form enough of a friendship, or you think it had something to do with Monique bringing you in? Why? Because it was kind of like you were by yourself.
Yeah.
The first season, almost to the point that Monique kind of left you high and dry too. Yeah. So, and I did see Arena try to come to your side a little bit, but she's not as much as she's doing for Joy.
Yeah, and I will actually give Arena grace in the fact that I didn't know Arena prior to filming. I didn't know anybody prior to filming but Monique and Chris. So in Arena's defense, she didn't know me well enough to come to my defense. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying she's known Joy all that long either, but she's known and spent more time with Joy than what she could have spent. Like, Arena and I don't hang out. Let me just be very clear. I have nothing against her. Think she's lovely. We don't hang out. We don't run in the same circles. I intentionally try to support my castmates. If they have something, if I can make it, I'll show up. I've done that with everybody on this cast, but that's about the extent of it. And to give context, I'm the only cast member that lives in Virginia. Everybody else lives in DC or Maryland, and it's far from me. Like, I live far. So it just doesn't even set the stage for where we can spend like a lot of time together. So yeah, no, I don't fault her for not taking up for me. I just felt like, people could have stayed more neutral than they did. That's really where I felt. And I think there could have been more accountability, because I don't feel like everyone was held accountable. I was held accountable. No one else was held accountable. And let's be clear, everybody wasn't innocent. Ain't no way. I literally could pinpoint where everyone did something they didn't have no business, or said something they didn't have no business on that show. So yeah, I don't fault her for that. I think this is a much different situation in that they have spent an awful lot of time together, and they really are friends. And they're probably a lot more closer than her and Ashley ever were at this point. It's just the truth.
Now, you had the Sign My Papers song. You had Gutter Barbies. We got another song coming?
So no, we don't get another song this season. I was working on a song in studio with Black. I don't even know that they show that at all. I'm trying to think in my memory if we get any bits and pieces of it. It never gets released nonetheless, so there's not too much that goes into it. I am working on new music, and I have a new song coming out. I go into the studio to record it this week, and it'll be dropped on Valentine's Day.
Love it.
Yeah.
And for everybody out there, if y'all haven't heard Winter Song, both of them, head on over to iTunes or any other place where you get your music.
Yep.
Those are some jams.
Yeah, because I signed you my papers. I ain't even had no papers to sign. I was trying to find some. Sign here. Just sign here, baby. You got it.
That's for getting a divorce, hypothetically. I went back. I had to shed a tear. I remember signing my papers. I was like, oh man.
Goodness. That's hilarious.
I'm out here like Dennis Rodman, marrying myself so I can sign the papers, baby.
That is hilarious. Listen, it was a couple of bops. You can't say too much bad about it. It fit the narratives that were happening in my life at the time. I'm actually working on a new record, so it'll be a different type of vibe. I'm trying to depart as much as I can from show things and Winter's professional life, because I have so much going on outside of the show. So we're trying to create, a real separation. So there's the show, and then there's Winter, the brand, and the things that I have going on for that.
One more thing with your brand, because we know we were trying to make it to one of the speed dating rounds, but how's those going? And when is the next one? So we can try to make it on time this time, Sean.
Oh, goodness. So, yes, the Romancipation is happening on February 17th. Beautiful new venue. We're really excited about the partnership with them. So the speed dating will begin at 6:30 this time. 6:30, and Autumn Joy, who used to work for WHUR, is actually hosting our speed dating round. So I'm pumped about it. I hope we can get enough men and enough women so there's some nice commingling happening, and maybe some love connections, or at least a free Valentine's Day dinner or something.
And do we still have a love auction in the works, or is that still in writing?
Listen, we still have a love auction in the works. But see, I have more men that are willing to auction for, like, bid for the women than I do men that are willing to be bidded on. So I want it to be balanced, because I feel like there's going to be more women that show up, and I'm like, I got to have some good bachelors to auction off. I'm trying to convince one of my guy friends, who actually is going to be on the relationship panel because he's single, and I'm trying to find him a good thing. But he ain't said yes yet, so I don't know. I'm still working on it. I need to tap Sean. I probably should tap into some of my ready to love folks that didn't find no love.
There's a lot of them.
I feel like
DC, a handful. I don't know if they're all serious or not, but they definitely are single.
I don't know if they're all serious. Well, it's been a lot of engagements.
I'm not naming names.
I feel like there's been a lot of engagements from the Ready to Love.
Yeah, Walter and Sabrina just got engaged.
Yep.
Yeah, so, Camille and Cornelius and
Dakia.
Yep. Well, Dakia has her full marriage now, I think.
Dakia's married.
Yep. Dakia. I want to say I heard that Sabrina Soul was engaged.
I don't know. She's in a relationship. I think she's in a relationship, but I think it's getting, it's serious.
I don't know. Bertie told me there was an engagement, so it might not be too far behind.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think they had some open talks of if they're gonna go down this path, it's gonna be serious. But I don't think they have an official engagement yet.
Okay, well, that's
not ruining it. Now, come on, Ashley. No, that's not ruining.
Right, let me hush.
Unless you know something we don't know. Hey,
I don't know nothing.
I think she did an announcement on her channel.
I don't know nothing. No.
Well, listen, that is your neck of the woods. They're in Virginia. So.
Well, no. Who's in Virginia?
Sabrina is.
She's far from me.
Oh, okay.
She lives down south. It's not close at all. She live out in the country. No.
Oh, okay.
I actually saw her at a celebrity kickball game. She's a sweetheart. I like her. And I got her daughter to kick for me because I'm not a sportsy type person. I was willing to do it for the kids, but her daughter kicked and I ran. That was the arrangement. I take that back because I don't run. I don't like to sweat. So hold on. I kicked. Her daughter ran for me. That was our arrangement. I was like, wait a minute, I'm not saying this right. So yes. Daughter is a sweetheart. She's a sweetheart. But yeah, they live kind of far from where I live. I live more northern Virginia. She's more southern. So
gotcha.
Yeah, but I mean, it sounds like people are finding love, even if they didn't find it on the show. I would never do Ready to Love.
No.
We keep you far away from that.
No, I'm good.
Listen, you got enough drama on the show you on. We don't need that kind of drama in your life.
Well, okay? These people not gonna stress me out. I have made it pretty far with not too many gray hairs, and we got 10 more episodes to go, and it's a 3-part reunion.
So, is this gonna cover all of pretty much most of 20? Oh, you say you stopped filming in March, so it's gonna only go until about March of 2024. Oh wow, okay. So we ain't even caught up on y'all yet. Jeez. Come on, y'all got to get it together.
Yeah, we filmed the reunion in August. So it's been a while.
Asking your sign. I don't want to guess. I know around the time your birthday is, but.
I'm a Libra. 9/26. September Libra at that. We're very friendly and we're very spicy. I'm a true Libra too. Very outgoing and energetic, very friendly, very spicy. Love, because we are the sign of love. So all these people are like, Winter just act like she cannot be single. I can. I was actually single for quite some time after Kevin. It took me a minute to recalibrate after that foolishness. So I was single honestly for about 18 months and then dated here and there, nothing too crazy. And then a whole nother year goes by and I get introduced to Yusha. So
Well, listen, we don't want you going down the Kenya Moore path now, so we ain't gonna have too many more introductions on this show, okay? We're gonna
well,
we get one or two.
It's one of those things where I have said this time and time again that for me, I mean, I've enjoyed my time on reality TV. It hasn't always been easy. It's not the easiest crowd to be in front of and expose your life. And I've definitely given people, y'all have seen my life. I have manufactured nothing. I have kept nothing. Y'all have seen it all, good, bad, or indifferent. The one decision I've made going forward, and I know the powers that be are probably like, you sure about that? No, I'm positive about that. I have given y'all a divorce. Y'all have seen this relationship now. I'm good on showing my private life. And it's not just show related. I find that relationships do better in general if you're a person that's in the spotlight when you have more privacy when it comes to your relationship. And I don't mind showing a picture here and there, but the constant in the spotlight on social media, documented every detail, those couples have a really, really hard time maintaining. So for me, you know, I've made a decision that Winter's gonna keep her personal life private. And yeah, I'm good. I'll watch everybody else be happy and share their business on the show. I feel like I have contributed enough for 4 seasons. Yeah.
Hopefully they don't get the tripping with you like they did Destiny Child. But I mean, you gave us something. Destiny didn't really give us.
I feel I have sowed my seeds. That's how I feel. Like I feel like I've sowed enough seeds to buy myself at least, you know, some grace because
a little reprieve, you know.
Yeah, I mean, a whole divorce.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty major. And y'all had to see this clown. And then this whole situation, like y'all get to see everything from start to finish with Yusha. Like you guys get to see you know, you don't get every detail, but you get enough. And then when we get to the reunion, you get everything. So I think that's good. I feel like I have brought my authentic self to this cast and to this show. And I'm not interested. I'm not interested in exposing that part. My kids don't mind filming. You guys get to meet my 2 littles this season. They're on the show this season. So that's pretty cool. My son thinks he's famous now. He was like, so do I get a check? I was like, get out of here.
I'm not mad at him. Listen.
Right? It's like, do I get a check? Can I negotiate? I was like,
how old is your son? The one that wants a check cut?
16.
Oh, that's
he's
the age.
16. He wants a check.
Listen, he's down the right path. Like, listen, pay me for my time.
Thank right. And it's so funny because if you go to Own's YouTube page, his picture is actually the cover picture for one of the promos. So you can't tell him nothing. He screenshotted himself and sent it to all his friends.
That's it.
But yeah, he's trying to negotiate a check for his 2 seconds.
Listen, as he goes forward, he go ahead and make him a contract. Be like, listen, my likeness cannot be used without some compensation.
Right.
I own the rights.
Right.
It's so crazy. Yes.
So question for you, some more show cross-pollination. I know, Jay, you mentioned a little bit about what happened on Love and Marriage Huntsville with Destiny, but we heard that you were involved in a little scuffle that took place on Real House of Potomac. Any little insight you can give us about that's coming up?
Whew, I was unfortunately there. Yeah, so I was invited to attend. I'm trying to think who invited me. I want to say Karen. I want to say I was invited through Karen. I can't remember if it was Karen or no, it was Karen. It was Karen. I want to say Karen or Ashley, but anyway, I think it was Karen. And yeah, it was a nice event. We had a good time, but I was taking a picture with Karen. I'm like, y'all done messed up my picture with the Grand Dame. I'm so excited. I love her so much. She's such a sweetheart. But Karen and I were literally standing to take a photo, and next thing we hear is a whole bunch of commotion. And this is when they're yelling. So I see like Candace's, and I'm thinking, I'm in reality TV, y'all. Nothing phases me that much anymore until the group starts moving. You see like a glass being thrown, and that fight just moves and moves. And it was insane. Pure chaos. I know people love to say who beat who, but honey, it was some beating on that floor. And it's not who people think it is. And people were like, Winter, you don't know, you need to stay out of it. I'm like, how you gonna tell me what I saw? I know I wasn't in the fight, but I saw the fight, and I'm telling you, it was bad, y'all. I mean, there were people crying. It was I don't even know. For me, and I've been in some pretty tumultuous back and forths. That was crazy. That was like something you would witness in a nightclub with a bunch of drunk people. Like it was kind of sad to witness, especially amongst Black women. Like high end, no, it was really bad. It was gutter, for lack of better words. Candace was not crying. Candace was cussing and fussing.
She didn't have her triangles out?
She didn't have her triangle. Her triangle was not present. She was cussing and fussing and being held back by producers. It was bad. It was so bad. It was so much going on. I did see Candace when we finally got outside. There were 2 ambulances called. One of the girls that got involved, she kind of got trampled because people were trying to get away from the fight because the fight was moving. So you know how a fight is when and they were coming downstairs, and I don't think people understand. So when it's, what is it, Zebby's Garden? If you've heard of it, you've been to it in DC, you know that there's kind of like some steps up. We went there to celebrate Jamie's birthday party, but I've been there a number of times, and in fact, considered having the Romancipation there when we were filming the Romancipation on the show. So there's some steps that go up. So as the fight is traveling, they break the stairs. This is why the fight ended up on the ground in the first place, because it was traveling. People are swinging and hitting. They're not paying attention to stairs going down. So when the stairs drop and the fight drops with it, people fall down. But it was literally like a knockdown, drag out fight. This was not girls slapping, and you know how you girl fight where you're slapping hands and stuff. This was a real fight. This was a brawl. Yeah, it was something I had never I would never expect for that to happen. And I think for me, being in reality TV, and I'm technically still a newbie. I've only been in this 2 seasons, but for me, this is where I think there has to be better protocols for engagement in alcohol, because we do know those type of things incite anger and arguments and elevate them to some levels that can't be controlled. But people that have been in the business were stunned. Like it was that bad of a fight. The young lady that almost got trampled, she was trying to help a friend. You see her pull someone down. She rolled her ankle, so we were carrying her out of the club. So she got she had to be taken away in an ambulance. Wendy's friend, I get the names mixed up, but the friend that was actually in the fight, her face was bleeding from the head down. So, I mean, literally, this was not, people may think it's production or something like that, but this was not production. It was a legitimate, real fight that turned really ugly really quickly. And I hate that I had to be there to witness it because it was, I don't know, it's just crazy. But like I said, it's people crying and screaming, and it was just insane. And we were having such a good time. It was such a nice event, but it turned crazy quickly.
The whole cast wasn't there though, right? Just
Yeah, everybody was present.
Oh, so Giselle, Robin,
Yeah,
all of them were
Everybody
there?
was present.
They're in the
Oh
picture.
wow, I didn't realize they were all there.
This was an all cast event. Everybody was present.
Because they've been so divided this season. So wow. Okay,
This was an
well,
all cast. Everybody was present.
glad you weren't injured or involved in that sense.
No.
Speaking of fights, were you and Ashley made up by the time this 2022 Christmas Eve?
Nope, and that's why I wasn't there, because we weren't made up. So I didn't get an invite. Thank God. One of the few times I'm grateful I was not in attendance, because I feel like the audience hadn't made the connect yet that we were not into it anymore. They would have found a way to blame me. So no, I wasn't present, and glad I wasn't present. Me and Quick were actually not good yet. Ashley and I had started to be okay, but me and Quick really hadn't made amends. So no, I didn't get an invite. Happy I didn't.
So you're calling him by his actual name now, so that shows that y'all are in a good place.
Yes. It's so funny because even with, we've been good for a while. You guys, I don't know if we'll have to wait till the episode gets here, because from what we saw, they don't air what actually happened. But they may have changed it in between when we saw it and when they air it. But there's something that happened on our cash trip that allowed for me to move forward with Jamie and Quick. And it was actually a very powerful moment for the group, but we didn't see that when we saw the episodes back in the summer. So I don't know if they put it back in there. So I won't share publicly just yet. But from that point forward, Quick and I have been good. And yeah, so I think it's weird for people to kind of see. I mean, there's been events that he and I have been at together. And yeah, we're good. We hug. We're literally, there's no issue whatsoever. we all spent New Year's Eve together. Because Quick DJ'd at some party in my area. So yeah, we're all fine. It's strange, I know, because everybody was at each other's necks and throats.
Yep.
But yeah.
Seems like we got new fights going on now. New battle lines that are being drawn.
When I say, okay, so what did y'all see? Y'all saw the Christmas fight. They're actually decent until something else happens. The something else that happens is the beginning of the divide that we see today. It's not the Christmas party. Everybody makes up. You know what I mean? Like we get beyond it. And then there's something that happens. And it is the beginning of the end. And they have not been able to get it back on track. And I honestly, unless Carlos has a round table discussion, I don't see it getting back on track.
That bad, huh?
It's that bad.
So is this like this thing that happens is part of the reason why you and now Jamie are a little at odds, or is just because of your friendship with Ashley and in combination, whatever that goes on?
Honestly, Jamie and I have been cool, and Jamie and I have bantered back and forth. And to be honest, we ain't really had no knockdown, drag out arguments either. They are upset because of my bullet point breakdown of where I stand with everything. And most importantly, I think they are upset because I said that Joy needs to show up outside of her confessionals. Like she needs to clock in outside of her confessionals. That one line is why I believe they are upset with me. I have literally not spoken ill of the Tylers. I have not spoken ill of the Petties. And when I go back and look at my bullet point, I'm actually very fair. I don't bash anyone. That is the only thing that they could be upset about. And I would be willing to put money on it. Why they're upset about that, I don't know. Because for me, it's the truth. We see Joy literally be a confessional gangster, which I can respect, because y'all know Winter don't play in her confessionals. I'm coming for everybody in my confessionals. That's been y'all's experience with me. But Winter also clocks in outside of confessionals. I'm willing to get into the ring if I got to be in person with someone. I've never backed down from backing up anything that I've said in a confessional. If you heard it, I said it, and I'll repeat it again if you are unclear as to what I said. That is not my experience in observing Joy. I'm not saying anything about her character. I'm not saying anything about her as a person, but as far as watching her back, you got to clock in outside of confessionals. You can't be a confessional gangster, because to me, as a viewer, and I'm a viewer like everyone else, we haven't seen these episodes. We're watching live with you guys. So if I'm watching what I've seen so far, that's not acceptable to me. You got to clock in. Ashley clocks in. Jamie clocks in. Arena clocks in. Joy has to clock in. She's new, and it may be that she's new and she's trying to get her feel for things, because Love and Marriage DC is very different from Ready to Love. Not the same. But for me, you can't say all of this stuff in confessionals and then in scene, crickets. That's not okay. You got to clock in. You got to stand 10 toes down. And that's something I had to learn very early. Girl, if you going to say it, stand 10 toes down and ride on that thing. And if you are confronted about it, once again, you got to stand 10 toes down because you said it. And so that is what I would love to see from her. I think if she can figure that part out, I think the fans would feel differently. I think the fans are very divided about Joy, because from what I can tell on Twitter, for as much as people, I didn't watch Ready to Love. I'm gonna just be honest. And I don't really watch Ready to Love. But from what I know of her season, people liked her until the reunion. And apparently something went down with her and Dakia. And I love Dakia, by the way. She's such a doll. But something went down with her and Dakia, and it split the audience with liking her or hating her, right? So she brings that same energy over to Love and Marriage DC. The only way to fix that is you got to come correct. You got to clock in. So we don't see that from Joy yet. We only see Joy clock in confessionals. We don't see Joy clock in the scene. The only time we see Joy activated is at the Christmas party. That's when we first see Joy activated. Up until that point, she's not activated. And that's all I'm saying. It's an observation, constructive criticism, and I'm not really trying to criticize. I'm just saying, hey, you're gonna clock in confessionals, honey. Clock in when you're in these scenes, because it would actually help make it a little bit more entertaining. You can't go toe-to-toe with Ashley being timid or quiet. That don't work. And in fact, it's quite boring to watch. And Arena's your friend, so you're not going to go toe-to-toe with her. So what are we bringing? That's all I'm saying. Like, I'm fair. I mean, people don't love everything that I do. I have to take the good with the bad and make some assessments and some adjustments if I need to, but take it all in stride. So all that to say, I don't have no beef with the Tylers. I believe they are collectively upset by my critique of Joy.
And you're cool with the Petties too, right?
I don't have an issue with them either. I don't hang out with my cast because I have my own life out here in Virginia. And I'm busy, y'all. It just doesn't happen. So I don't have any issues with Joy and Clifton. I've seen Clifton more than I've seen Joy, because for a while him and Carmen were hanging so tough, and Carmen actually lives out by my area. So I would see them frequently, and we've never had an issue. We're cool. And I've hung out with Joy individually, one-on-one. But yeah, I don't have an issue with them. I like I said, the only thing that has happened is my bullet point breakdown of where I stand. And I believe the issue is that they don't like what I said in regards to Joy. But Ashley didn't like what I said about her, and that's fine. We don't have to agree. Everybody's allowed to have an opinion. And it's like so Jamie's response to what I said was that I've picked a side. And I said, Jamie, I haven't picked a side. I really haven't. But I'm not going to get on a hate train. I'm not going to get on the I hate Ashley train because I don't hate her. Season 1, I would have gladly been like the conductor of it because me and Ashley weren't on the same page. But that's not where we are anymore. And so I can't be double-minded. I have to stand 10 toes down on where I am. I don't have an issue with her. She ain't done nothing to me. And if there's an issue, I can address Ashley directly like I've always done. But I'm not going to jump on a bandwagon because y'all don't like her right now. Because this is the thing that I noticed that happens in reality TV. People get into it. People pick sides. Then the two people that got into it make up. Now y'all are mad at the person who picked sides. Do that with somebody else. Because what happens when y'all figure it out and y'all become friends again? I don't have time for it. We got to grow up. We're too old for this. So for Winter, as for Winter and Winter's house, I'm good. I like who I want to like. I hang with who I want to hang with when I feel like hanging with them. And if I don't, I don't. I'm not sure how to pronounce your name, but thank you. I appreciate that. But yeah, it's my choice to stay neutral. And they don't believe it's neutral, but trust me, if I pick a side, you're gonna know it because I'm gonna go hard in the paint. But I try to do my best to be equal. I don't always like everything Jamie say. I don't always like everything Arena do. I don't always like everything Ashley say and do. I don't always like everything Joy and Clifton do. There are things that are going to transpire where I'm going to have an opinion. And they'll probably be mad again. But, oh well.
Not you got to be real with both parties, but you can't be neutral. I don't know how y'all feel like. I don't know where this you gotta pick sides come from. I've never.
It's crazy. It's honestly
wrong. I don't. There's no sides.
It's honestly not very smart. I'm an intellectual, so I try to use my brain as much as possible. And when I say I abhor groupthink, like people collectively thinking one way for the sake of the group is weird. Like, think for yourself. And again, in reality TV, dynamics change so much. It doesn't serve me in any way to be picking sides because it changes too much. What if they had a made up 2 days later and I done went hard for one party? For what? And again, the DMV is very small. There's no point in picking sides. Everybody knows everybody and is intermingled in some way. Mind the business that pays you. If it's not directly impacting you, then stay out of it. Be objective. And I can be objective. I like that I can be objective. So yeah, I don't know. Everybody's not going to like my neutrality, obviously, but
oh no, not in the world of reality TV. Everybody needs you to be on the side. You gotta be somebody's fan. You gotta be somebody's, ride or die, they cheerleader. You gotta be something. And they can't stand neutral because when we get up here and we give everybody the business, they be mad. No matter last week we gave this person the business, but now this week we give this person the business, and this my team. You can't speak on my team. But, child, I don't know what you're gonna do, Winter. You gotta say Team Winter. You can't be neutral. You gotta pick yourself.
Exactly. You choose yourself.
And I have literally said that. Winter is for Winter. Winter advocates for Winter. Winter is on Winter's side. And again, people don't like when I say that either, but it's the truth. Y'all, this reality TV is like a weird ass chess game. Like, I'm so serious. It is a weird game of chess. And I personally don't like playing it. I would just rather be who I am and let the chips fall where they may. And if you want to dislike me because I'm honest about how I feel, then I prefer that versus trying to tiptoe around to be liked or pick a side that's preferred. Like, for what?
Mm-hmm.
And I've stood alone. People expected Winter to pick a side after going through season 1. Wrong person.
She's like, I got my own back. I ain't trusting y'all.
Oh, I'm good. I'm good.
Like you were out in the cold, literally.
Literally, right?
The one person that brought her, it was left for clue. I was like, oh dang, when she did that, I was like, because I'm a big, like, trust me, I'm a big Monique fan or whatever. And
Right.
so when she had kind of left you, I was like, well, now wait a minute, didn't you bring her in? Now you over here talking like, okay, okay.
So that was something. That was something. So for a person that has literally had to stand alone, the fear of doing it does not bother me. But I would rather stand on my truth. My truth is, I don't have an issue with anyone on this cast. I'm not going to fake one, and I'm not going to create one, and I'm not going to make up one for the sake of picking a side. It's literally foolish to me. It just doesn't make sense. Yeah. And I really can see both sides of it. I can see where Raina may feel caught in the middle. I can see where Joy might feel betrayed because Ashley told something she wasn't ready to tell. And I can honestly see where Ashley is like, Heifer, why you come in my house if we ain't had no conversation, right? Like, I get all sides. Nobody, honestly, from that vantage point, nobody's wrong. Everybody could have handled things differently for everyone to end up in a better place. But that's not where we are. That's the truth. So now we've got to figure out next steps. And that's what we'll see in the upcoming episodes.
We're just going to pray on it, child. We're going to pray
That's
on
all we can do. Take it to Jesus. Because I don't know that he can fix it, but we can take it to him.
If anybody can, he can. Because, Lord.
Now, let me tell you, we know he's a miracle worker because Ashley and I are friends.
Yeah, that's huge.
When
I saw you guys on live together a couple of months ago, I was like, wait a minute. I had to like check my screen twice.
Yeah, I think it shocked all. It was like it sent ripples across the wave lines because people were like, oh, hell is definitely frozen over because something is. And in the viewer's defense, I can see where a lot of people thought it might have been fake. Mm-hmm. Like, there's no way these two are cordial. And there's no way these two are friends. But yeah, it's just what it is. And I like that we're reviewing now so people get an opportunity to kind of see our dynamic. But, people will figure it out. We spend a lot of time outside of this show, so that's nice.
Yeah, I'm glad it's an actual genuine friendship that y'all made, though, because sometimes we get these people that make these friendships outside the show and then get back on the show.
Oh, absolutely.
And act like they was just for the sake of these sides and all this drama. And so I'm glad you guys did make a move forward. I hope that the other ladies can eventually do the same over time, but we shall see. We shall see. Because, I mean, seriously, the thing is, if you kind of have to have a love-hate for one another in a way. And I say that because the show needs you to still be there and be in scenes together and work together. That's why we're having such a hard time watching Potomac now, because it's so divided that they kind of don't want to film. They're not inviting each other to cast events. It's just so much going on, and it makes it just really unbearable to watch. And I don't want that for this show because it's actually a really good show.
We're there. Well, we are there. That's the thing. And I love and I hate social media at the same time, because social media, this cast is very active on social media. And it's the social media that I feel like has heightened the divide. I feel like if it were not for social media, a lot would have been resolved already. But this whole back and forth on social media and, much like season 2A, that's what I'm calling it. I know they call this season 3, but much like season 2A, when we did the shoot, remember all the ladies did the shoot? You guys, I don't know if you guys have that photo in your background. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
When we announced it, We all made an agreement to release the photo at the same time. And Joy photoshopped Sherelle out of that picture. I did not even realize it. Didn't even realize it. My phone starts getting blown up by people sending me screenshots of it. Social media has wore this cast out to the point where so much has been done and said that it makes it very hard for some people to come back from that.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I can forgive you for saying certain things, but if you say something about my mama, it ain't no forgiving. I don't care who it is. And it's getting very personal. And I don't know. I really don't know where you go from that. Last year, for instance, actually both premiere parties that I've been to, I was not on great terms with the cast, but I will say I was still invited. I was still included. You saw Jamie and Arena throw a party. Everybody was not invited and everybody was not included. That is the first time in the history of Love and Marriage DC that has ever happened. That is a very loud statement to make. And so I don't know what happens. Now, Winter was at home enjoying. I didn't want to be invited, and I was glad I wasn't, because I wasn't going even if I was. I was enjoying being at home. I'm so serious. I literally have to have a root canal this week. My mouth was jacked. I wasn't going nowhere regardless. So I'm glad I didn't get in it. But still, I feel like everybody should have at least been invited, because that's what we've always done, regardless of whether or not we were on the same page or not. And that's just not where we are. So I don't know. I've said this publicly. I don't know the future of this show. I don't. I know Jamie has stated just replace, the Silvas if they don't want to come back. But honestly, our show has already had too much turnover.
Mm-hmm.
And to throw a new couple in the mix when Ashley, honestly, whether they like it or not, she's a huge part of the show. She has a large part of the fan base. For as much as people love her, people hate her. That's what makes a good dynamic in a show, in a reality TV personality. Jamie's the same. People love him and hate him at the same time. That's what makes a good personality. But to change up that dynamic, where we've already lost Monique, who was a huge part of the show. We've already lost Chris, who was a huge part of the show. And then to have a huge turnover like the Silvas and replace them with some randoms where there's been no established history, good luck. I don't know what that looks like. I really don't. It sounds like to me there needs to be a conversation had if there is to be some salvation here. But there's been a lot that's being done and said that's making that very difficult on all the way around. So I don't know.
Well, my new word for 2024 is ego. And a lot of people have a big ego. And unfortunately, like you did just say, unfortunately for the Tylers, Arena and Jamie, Ashley is a very big deal. Like, she has the presence for reality TV.
Absolutely.
Arena, in my opinion, is very stunning lady, very beautiful to look at, but she cannot carry a show. I'm so sorry. She cannot do it by herself. I'm just going to be honestly real with you. Like, she doesn't have that presence. She adds value to the show.
I agree.
But to carry the show, it's not her. Ashley has the personality that you need, that fun, that spunk, that spice when you need it. Right or wrong, she gonna stand on her. She gonna stand 10 toes down.
Yeah.
She'll make a mess and stand in her mess. And you like that. You like that about her, though. That's what you love to hate about her or whatever, because you need that 10 toes down presence or whatnot. The flip-flopping thing, that's fine. here and there, but over time we get tired of it, and that's where we get into. And I'm just gonna have to bring out Potomac, Housewife of Potomac, but we get Giselle. And it's the same thing. Giselle is the face of the show, but she's not enough to carry that show. She's just she doesn't bring enough. And Jamie can bring some stuff, but I don't want to watch a show of Jamie and Arena fighting, because that's what it's going to turn into when it doesn't have the dynamic of the women bouncing off of each other. It's going to turn into them battling each other, and I don't want to see a married couple. I don't want to tune into that. I'm just going to be honest. You know, I didn't care for tuning into seeing him and his son fighting so much. Yeah. But it's a good learning topic for us all to have. You know, how do you navigate a man growing out of childhood and growing into manhood and still be a parent? You know, that's good topics for us to talk about.
Yeah.
But that's not what I want to tune in. I like to see you guys having fun, getting it together, looking fabulous, because that's what we came to see the DC area for, is the fabulosity of it all. Yeah. You know, having the big parties, the big events. I want to see that, and I want to see y'all happy. But yes, I need y'all to get a talk. I don't know, Carlo King, Mr. King, if you're listening.
Right. No, I mean, so this is the thing. At some point, in order for a cast to work, you have to value what everyone on your cast brings, whether you love them or hate them. People can say whatever they want about season 1. Oh, winter was messy. Winter was coming for people's marriages, but y'all wouldn't have had a season 1 if winter wasn't being winter. That's true. That's the God honest truth. Who else was going to be the villain? Y'all were all buddy. There had to be a catalyst and an antagonist. It just so happened to be me, because if you say something to me, Winter's going to say something back, and I can't promise you what that is or it's not going to be. Ashley figured that out very quickly. She realized that she might not have liked me, but I was necessary. At some point, everybody's going to have to figure out who is necessary. Mm-hmm. And in order for Love and Marriage DC to work as is, at this point, everybody's necessary. Because this is what the audience has gotten comfortable with. This is what they're signing up to see. They don't care if we fight and bicker amongst each other. They expect it. It's a reality show. Mm-hmm. But they expect to see this cast that they've gotten to know. Okay, Chris and Monique are gone. But for the most part, the core of the people who were there season 1 are still here. You get to shifting that too much, people will be like, to heck with it. Yeah, they're going to move on to something else because it's too janky. It's too unstable. And from what I know, reality TV fans like a little stability in their cast. Mm-hmm. They like stability. Too much moving, too much shifting. You really threaten your audience and the future of the show. And that's what I feel like our cast at large doesn't understand. And there's not enough people willing to put we before me to get that done. Yeah. And if people really want this show to be a success at some point, like you said, that E word's going to have to come into play, and it's going to have to be put to rest. And people are going to have to learn to see value regardless of how you may personally feel about a person at that time. Let me tell you now, I'm not coming back to argue with Arena. That's not fun for me. I told Carlos this on his show. In my experience with Arena, she's a very sweet woman. I'm not arguing with Arena. I'm not going toe to toe with Arena. It's literally not fun for me. Going toe to toe with Ashley, I enjoy.
I think that's how me and Shine feel. I enjoy going toe to toe with Shine.
I enjoy it. It's fun for me. Some of the things, when I tell you, we laugh about that to this day. But when we go back to Sherelle's workout event and her and I get into it outside, y'all, it was some stupid stuff being said, but it didn't matter. We were both so passionate in that moment about getting our point across. But when we literally got into, I hate your face, foolish.
But you know, that's the kind of shade that's the kind of reality TV shade we like. You know what I'm saying? That you guys throw little jabs at each other, nothing too deep, nothing too personal or whatever. But you can come back the next day, look at each other again, be like, B, I still don't like you, but
Right. When I
that
tell
was a
you,
good one. When you called them linebackers, I was like,
yes,
that reference. I was like, that was
literally,
perfect.
all them quotables, baby.
y'all just foolish. But you know, it's one of those things where it's like it's a mess, right? In the moment, it's pure mess, but it's good TV. It was just foolishness, but to me, that's not really Arena's personality. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
she has her moments where she gets rah, but that's not her on the regular basis. I see Arena more of a Kimmy. Kimmy's more even and balanced. She's not the one that's always going to be yelling and screaming, and she may get loud here and there, but that's not her normal temperament. That's Arena for us. Arena ain't the rah in this group. Ashley's the rah in this group. I'm the spicy rah in this group. Arena's the even, and I really haven't quite figured out what Joy is yet. I think we'll figure that out as she gets her footing. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It's interesting. It's interesting. And we don't know what we'll see of the Duncans this season.
Yeah. I know for sure there's one thing I love about you and Ashley was y'all be rah, but then y'all get into confessionals and just finish them off. I mean, like, what?
Finish them. Yes. You got to close. You got to close. What do you got to finish strong? So that confessional is your opportunity to finish strong. You know, it's so funny because a lot of them, they didn't know everything I had said until they actually saw the season and they saw them confessionals. I think seeing my confessionals is when it dawned on them that I wasn't going nowhere. And Ashley says she told Alicia when, you know, she started seeing some of the confessionals, and when she met me for the first time, she was like, her tail gonna be on this show. I just have a feeling. And she was like, I saw your confessionals, and I was like, dang, she ain't going nowhere. No. Those confessionals definitely make or break a person, but also being able to do it and seeing is really what makes the show cohesive. So like I said, I don't know. I do hope everyone can figure it out, but I don't know. I really don't. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. Any last thoughts, Sean? Because I know we had you on here for quite some time, and we
I
can't
know, and
talk too much.
in my computer, literally, we've done good tonight. I haven't said anything that I would get in trouble for, so
Yeah.
that's always good. But my computer
Good for
literally
you,
has
bad for us.
I know. I'm so sorry. My computer is about to shut down, and I don't want that to happen. So
Yeah, we're gonna wrap it up anyway. We almost at the 2-hour mark. And
okay.
Well,
Thank you guys for having me on.
Thank you so much
I do
for stopping by, giving us some insight. And we need y'all to come back because we need this to go on. We're liking the chemistry, we're liking the unlikely friendships that have developed. So we want to see more.
Somewhere in the middle of the season, if we can have you back, and again after the reunion.
I mean, so definitely, Sean, hit me up. We can schedule it. Mid-season should hit around the beginning of March. We'll be at the midway point. So yeah, definitely let me know. And we can get something on the books to schedule it out. But yeah, thanks for having me on. And I hope you guys enjoy the rest of the season.
Indeed. Thank you for obliging Sean and surprising me today. I really appreciate
Absolutely.
it so much.
Good luck on the channel.
For arranging. Thank you. All right. I'll let you go now, beautiful. Thank you. Thank you, Sean. That was a great surprise. I love it.
Got it. Glad it worked out. She helped us too, because we were kind of like she came in at the right time. It all came together.
Because the episode was pretty much that was it for the episode anyway. So yes, we got some good insight, y'all, tonight. I'm glad you guys stuck with us through the 2 hours that we were here. I want to thank my guest for coming, Winter. I want to thank my co-host for the night, Sean. And, we'll be back again probably, well, I won't say next Sunday because I'll still be out of town. So maybe next Monday or Tuesday because I'll be traveling. let's come back Tuesday for the next episode 2. So we'll be back Tuesday for episode 2 of this season. I guess to be season 3. Love and Marriage DC. I thank you all for being here tonight. Again, if you are new to this channel, please like, share, subscribe. And if you have already been here, you already know what to do. I don't know why I got to tell you again. And if you're watching this on a replay, don't be afraid to leave a comment down and let us know how you feel about our guests and anything that we said in this episode. And Sean, you got anything you want to tell the people before we go?
No, it was just great getting back together. This is like old times. So, really glad to be here, and thank y'all for watching. Please, I saw some new names, a couple of new names in the midst of the chat. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe to Another Round. Tell a friend. Jay, you're right there for 1,000.
I'm right there. You guys, you know what? Let me give a quick shout out to y'all, because in the last few days, I've almost gained like 100 followers. So thank you guys so much, and just continue to subscribe to the channel and keep it growing, because we're on to some big things. We really want growth out here. And yeah, like tonight's conversation is basically, you can have friends and they can have other friends, and it's okay. Sean, you got a little bit of addiction for, anything? I know I cut you off.
Sure, absolutely. So, we had a great discussion tonight. I think what we learned from this episode, you got to be honest, right? Just be honest. And when it comes to your friends, don't pick a side, pick your side, and always be honest and truthful with your friends. And if they're right, let them know. But if they're wrong, let them know. And I think that's the best way to have somebody's back, is by letting them know when they're right and when they're wrong.
All right. Well, on that note, let me see. I might have to play a little something on our way out of here. Get our spices and our juices going on the way out of here. In the words of Winter,
today's forecast looking real. That ain't got shit to do with me. Ish.
Just stay out of people's stuff and mind the business that pays you. Y'all have a good night. Love y'all. Bye.